Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Wait. Before we start, does this interest you? This distinguished gentleman is now live on Makeshift.com for a grand total of $30. Link in the description below. Make sure you snag one before the time expires because it's not coming back. By the possums, 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 by the possums. Now to your regularly scheduled program. This post was collected by Toilet Ghost, and their tagline is, Ugh, my sensual roach queen. The original OP is Junior Duck 8089. Posted October 7th, 2023. Editor's note, I made slight grammatical changes and altered some titles to break up the wall of text. Updates are marked with a red triangle, and comments are marked with the DNA emoji. I thought that'd be a good idea to include just in case those were included in the edit. Am I the asshole for bashing my sister in the head with a Christmas present and telling her to consider me dead? So, this situation happened December of last year, just before I left for a college program in Orlando. I, 20 female, have never gotten along with my younger sister, 18 female, who has various mental health issues and a personal vendetta against me I will never fully understand. She hurt me a lot when we were kids, and not in a sisters pulling hair kind of way. We're talking burning me with irons on purpose, trying to hold me under the pool water when my parents weren't around. She's a larger girl compared, and I'll later on explain why this is. Cutting my hair, cutting me with scissors, ripping heads off my dolls, and even would tell lies about me at school. Like how she said I got hit by a bus and died in the 5th grade. When I was a sophomore, the issues between us only got worse and worse. I started trying to stand up for myself more, and while my mother would separate us when things seemed to go too far, because I'll admit, I'm no angel, I had my share of unkind words and jabs. However, when we stayed at my dad's, it was a much different story. He would go into his room and sleep if he got so angry he couldn't handle it, so he walked away, which would lead to my worst nightmare. While eating dinner, I tried to pause the TV to use the restroom, and my sister got mad. I told her not to unpause it until I came back. But she didn't wait for me, and I got upset and called her a bitch. Again, I had my fair share of insults, but never one time had I been violent with her. I've only ever put my hands up or ran away. That day, however, she decided violence would be the only answer to my calling her that. So, she took the steak knife from her dinner plate and held it to my neck. It was like time froze for me. I don't even remember to this day when she put it down or how I ended up on the floor. Just the smell of the food, the way it felt against my neck, and that she said she wanted to kill me. I do remember running to tell my dad, but he was out cold, and so instead, I went to bed and put a chair behind my door because I was scared. I actually called 911, but ended up saying it was an accident dial because I was scared of what they would do to my sister. The next day, my grandmother picked us up and took me to school. My mom homeschooled my sister after finding out she was bullying some girls at her school and stealing money from my grandmother's fundraiser. She also had kids sign a petition to rename me as Dumb Ho or something, where I had a full-on panic attack in the bathroom mirror. I don't know what caused it. I may sound dramatic, but I really only remember bits and pieces of what happened that day to lead me to the counselor's office, where I spilled everything. I waited in her office for what felt like a million years when my mom came in along with a police officer and my grandma, Dad's mom. 2 days of sleeping at Grandma's later, we get a call. My sister is in a jail cell for the night. She had attacked my mother, who recently had stomach surgery, and tried to hit her in the stitches. My mom ended up going to the hospital because of the bruising, and my sister was trying to claim child abuse after my mother got her to the ground by the back of her neck. She only managed to call 911 because my grandpa lived one house away and heard all the commotion. She ended up admitting to the officers she didn't want to kill my mother, but she really wanted to hurt my name because she took my life. I still don't know what she meant by that. Fast forward, after various behavioral facilities, ins and outs of public school, and multiple different medications and therapy trials, she and I started to get better during the pandemic, though there was an entire city distance from each other. She still made comments about me and would fly off the handle, but she hadn't been violent in a long time. Now that you know our history, let's go back to December. The first incident was when Dad dropped a Christmas present she got on her dog and the paper scratched a bit. She waited until he went back to grab more from the house and, with me in the back seat, took his phone, keys, and wallet before trying to speed off and nearly wrecking us into the neighbor's fence before my dad jumped in front of the car and started banging on the window. Mind you, her therapist had informed my dad to tell any family of ours to record this kind of behavior, so that's what I did. I sent it to my mom to talk to Dad about later. I tried to seem involved as little as possible on her mental space. At Christmas with Mom, I won $200 in lottery tickets, and she won only $8, which led to her wishing me dead and leaving without any of the gifts I'd worked to buy her. And finally, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when she lunged at me from across the room while opening presents with my elderly grandmother, and so I slammed the Christmas gift in my hand right into her face. She'd seen the video on Mom's phone while trying to send herself pictures of the day. Because of this, in the eyes of some, I may deserve it, but I was done, and when she told me she hoped I got assaulted and murdered in Orlando, that she wished I'd never come home and claimed I'd ruined her life, I was broken. She ran off crying, and I chased her into the other room, telling her that she should consider me a stranger. As far as she was concerned, I wasn't family to her anymore, and she was dead to me. I got home today. I have had her blocked on every piece of media or contact possible. I even deleted any pictures of us. I'm done with her. And these past 10 months away from her, with no contact, have made me realize just how much better my life is without the anxiety she brings in it. But now that I'm coming home, my grandmother wants me to apologize even though my sister told her she hates to breathe the same air as me, let alone see my face. Should I apologize, and am I the asshole? Edit. I have a lot of people asking what I hit her with. It was a makeup mini fridge. Also, I forgot to explain what I meant by why she is larger than me. She had a growth spurt at the age of 11 and even, TMI, got her period before me. She struggled with weight loss her entire life after the fact. Comments. Deleted user. She sounds like a budding murderer. I think you should go no contact for your own safety. She's not your problem. Start a new chapter in your life and breathe easy for once. User Mayday's mom comments, not the asshole. I'm surprised that your sister isn't permanently institutionalized by now. Whatever help she's been given isn't working. Do not apologize. Your parents and grandmother should be apologizing to you for putting you through this your whole life. I would have an order of protection out against her with no end date. This is not normal. User the Andre Donozo comments, this, just with the first paragraph I thought, why is she not in a mental facility? Is not normal at all. Unless OP is not telling everything and she did something really wrong or their upbringing was really violent, her behavior doesn't make any sense. OP responds, that's something that's always confused me. We have a good life outside of all this. We aren't poor, aren't rich, middle class. Parents had split custody and got along well enough. User Bekraganoff, not the asshole. You have nothing to apologize for, so you shouldn't apologize. The people who owe apologies here are every member of your family who didn't protect you from your sister. They owe you apologies and reparations. I would advise you against living with your mother considering your sister's violent vindictiveness and your family members' inability to protect you. If I were you, I would move away, get a restraining order against your sister, and not tell any of your family members where you live. Your sister wants to kill you. Take that seriously. Opie responds, my mother has banned her from her home. That was our agreement when I agreed to move back in with her and my stepfather. I also informed my dad, a few minutes ago actually, me and my grandmother, his mom, who wants us to let things go, are only to meet in public places when I have my own vehicle, so I can leave if she ever shows. User Super Hulakian comments, not the asshole, what the fuck took you so long to disown her? Opie responds, if I'm honest, mostly pressure by my family members. The only people who have never pressured me to get along with her in the past is my mother, who only speaks to her via text and sees her maybe once every 3 months at the restaurant my sister works at. My stepfather, he's an officer himself now and actually knows some connections now if I choose to press charges in the future. My aunts and uncles on my mother's side, my uncle, Dad's brother who was on my side for years saying something wasn't normal about my sister, and my little brother. User CatsMom63 comments, not the asshole. Sounds like the sister is a danger to herself and others. Does she go to therapy? Does she have a diagnosis? Based on the fact that she's tried to hurt multiple people, I don't understand why she isn't institutionalized by the state. Opie responds, At first, they thought it was a form of aggravated ADD, and while others suggested personality disorders, the only real thing they can all agree on, she's seen maybe 3 therapists, spent a week at a behavioral facility, and actively tried around 9+ different forms of medication, is that she seems to actually somewhat calm down when she's on high doses of estrogen. User Structure Key 2739 responds, "Seems? OP. It's hard to tell at times because she sometimes also self-isolates. They often notice she's able to rationalize and act less impulsive when on high doses of estrogen." Francie 1966. Do you have a friend you can stay with? OP in response, "She lives with my dad at the moment because my mother banned her from the house when I agreed to come home to finish up my degree." Downvoted comment. There it is. You left the most important part out. Sounds like that's what she meant by she took her life, right? You said you had no idea what that could mean, but you literally took her place. I can see why the grandmother wants you to apologize. She was displaced from her home when the favorite daughter came home. How would you feel if the situation was reversed? Not to mention, you are taping her and sending it to people. I wonder now what was said or done that caused her to pull a knife on you. Or did that even happen? Both of you are violent and have severe issues. I hope you're getting help also. OP responds, "I've tried to see in her view multiple times, but I really can't understand it. Like I said in my post, I'm no angel. But you're right to say that maybe I could have been a better person/example at times, but I'm always the one who has to say sorry. I'm the one who has to let her do what she wants and cancel plans to fit her. I'm the one who's had to cut off family because they defend her actions, and now I'm likely to have to go limited contact with more after coming home. I'm no angel, but I don't see how anyone deserves this feeling. I'm not looking for a pity party either. I just want advice and, honestly, to rant. I can't tell people about these things in my daily life. I'm from a small town where people talk, and everyone knows everyone. Trust is hard for me here." OP on the extent of her sister's injuries. "I really just reacted without thinking. It was so sudden I barely registered what I'd done until seconds after it happened. I hit her with a makeup mini fridge and there was a bit of red, not blood, on the side of the face/head where I hit her with it. On previous fights, I'm not really much of a physical fighter aside from the Christmas incident and maybe a few hair pulls in self-defense. I'm more of a verbal type of gal. On possibly confronting her sister in the future. I don't think I could ever do that. I'm too worried she'll explode on me." Update. October 11th, 2023, 4 days later. Need advice. First off, thank you all so much for your advice and kind words. When I first posted, it was, admittedly, more of a venting session due to stress more than anything. But your recommendations and encouragement have helped lift me up in ways I can't put into words. That being said, I feel it would be wrong to not update you all on my current situation, should anything happen in the future. And sadly, at this time, I'd need more advice. This week, as I moved in, I spoke to my mother, who agreed, though I would have went through with it anyways, it would be best to go less contact with my grandmother and her siblings who agree with her. My dad doesn't like it, but says he understands and won't say a word about my whereabouts to my grandmother until after the fact. However, we have an entirely new storm about to brew. My dad's brother's wife, my aunt, wants to do a big family picture as we haven't had one since 2017, when things with my sister reached its peak. Everyone involved in this picture keeps bugging me about it, sending me outfit ideas, texting me times and locations, asking me to plan poses for them. I was, and still technically am, a contract model, which somehow makes me an expert in all things photography, despite me never holding a pro camera in my life. I honestly don't know how to say I can't be in a family picture if my sister is there, and knowing them, if I ask them to choose between us, I know it'll end with them trying to make me compromise and be as far away as possible, or make it quick and easy, we won't even have to talk. If you were me, what would you say? Because I really don't know if I'm ready to be in the same room as her yet, if ever. Decision made. I will suddenly have a false positive COVID test this November. Thank you. Also, might steal that cardboard cutout idea if they give me too much shit before I put them in timeout as suggested by another user. 24th of October, 2023. 2 weeks later. The card in the car. Another update on my situation. If you aren't up to speed, all of my posts are captioned the same, but in parts as I update. These posts are not for clout purposes and are strictly to update those concerned for my situation or give insight to those going through similar issues. Since moving back home, I have remained completely no contact with my younger sister and limited contact with my grandmother, Dad's side. It's been great. I have 3 job interviews scheduled, made a small amount of money taking up babysitting jobs for relatives and friends. I will say my dad has been much more supportive through the no contact process than I thought he would be. He's only mentioned reconnecting once, and after I explained my reasoning for wanting to remain no contact, he immediately dropped it. This last week, I did some home improvements at his place while my sister was at work, and our paths only crossed once. But we were in our vehicles as I was leaving, so I never saw her face to face. For those concerned about her pets, they seem to be taken care of well enough, though part of the home improvements I worked on involved flooring that swelled from where she didn't clean up the dog's urine in a corner of her bedroom. Dad now charges her rent after that. Instead of paying me, my dad decided to give me a car. It's his old one from work that he's fully paid off, and since he's getting a new truck, he won't need it anymore. The only thing is his old work car more or less became a driving trash dump. It's littered with soda cans, food bins, old welding equipment, and, as I'd soon find, unused condoms. While I was cleaning it out at my mom's place, I found a letter addressed to me under some of the trash. It seems old enough with stains on it from whatever rolled on top of it. My name's on it. I may as well open it, I thought to myself before realizing it was from my sister. 3 years ago. For my high school graduation. I never knew she got me anything, and honestly, after seeing it, I don't know how I feel. I'm not sure why, but it made me second guess if I'd been too harsh on her in the past. Then I remembered everything she did and practically threw it in a drawer and walked away. That was 2 days ago. I just feel weird having it now, and while I have no intention of contacting her, still, I wonder if there was ever a time she really cared for me. It may sound stupid and silly to some, but she's never actually written anything so nice to me or given me anything outside of Christmas. Not even for my birthday. Is it normal to question these things or think this way? Edit because I forgot. I'm starting therapy in 2 weeks. Being a small town, the options are limited, especially with insurance. I'm hopeful I'll get in sooner. On to the comments. User Miss Murder Pants. What did the letter say? Did she start acting out on you as she became a preteen, or has she always been like this towards you? OP responds, it started off when we were younger with things like cutting, burning, hair pulling, lying to people, saying I was dead, etc. It has gotten worse as we've gotten older. The letter just said it was from her, and I worked hard to graduate despite my struggles with ADHD. Miss Murderpants responds, there are some mental illnesses that start to manifest when people reach puberty. OP responds, I still wonder to this day if it's not partly a hormonal issue. The more advice I get and the more people I reach out to about my situation, the more I realize there's this huge emotional and mental issue, yes, but I wonder if there's a more chemical aspect to it. A little TMI, she got her period before me and her body started to undergo its female changes at around 10 to 12 years old. I think 11, but I can't be 100% right now. Around that same time, her actions toward me seem to get worse and worse. I'm getting tired of looking for answers I may never have, though. So I'm trying not to look into her mental/physical health much further. I think trying to find a cause over all these years has almost driven me insane. Deleted user. Your sister sounds like the medical definition of a psychopath or psychopathic tendencies towards you at least. Maybe she resents you for being older, better looking, yes, making assumptions based on weight and the fact that you said you model. What could have started out as a childhood resentment for multiple reasons has grown into a full-on hatred, it seems like. You know what she's like, and what she's done to you. Most everyone who has siblings has fought or still fights with them. I highly doubt the average gets a knife to their throat and PTSD over it though, so hold your ground for your own safety. The card could have been a few reasons. The abuser honestly felt bad for what they had done for a moment and tried to change. The abuser is trying to make you let your guard down so they can continue in their aggressive ways, or even possibly your parents pushed her into showing a heartwarming gesture for what some consider a life milestone. In any of those cases, the guilt does not fall to you in any way. Choose your safety first. If you're concerned for your family, well, we can't really make people change their minds. They have to figure it out for themselves, more often than not. If family keeps pushing, stick to your reasons and don't forget them. And just say nothing can change until she gets some serious therapy. For years. Part 4. Mom has cancer. Taking the picture and leaving. This one was deleted by OP, but it was recovered, the 9th of November, 2023, 2 weeks later. Smaller update. I didn't get the teller job, but they kept my resume for future positions. I did, however, get a job working for my mother's boss as a secretary. It pays well, and I honestly am alone a lot, so it's been good for some self-reflection. I also got a boyfriend. He's a little bit on the countryside, and we've had a few political debates, but I've never had a guy make me feel this way. He's become a major supporter of me, and is actually a prison guard and state trooper hopeful. I guess opposites really do attract sometimes, because while he's out hunting deer, I'm watching RuPaul's Drag Race reruns. I also dropped out of college. I couldn't handle it atop all my other personal issues. The bigger updates! As my caption says, my family has been hit hard by my mother's recent cancer diagnosis. At first, we were told, since it was her thyroid, which, according to the doctor, is the best type of cancer you can have, it should be a simple removal. Turns out, it's much more serious than that, but I'm going to only speak lightly on it, as we were waiting to learn more before we tell anyone outside of the direct family, and I want to properly update on the situation. Now, for the latest thing my family has tried to pull. I made a deal with my family. If my sister is here, I won't be, unless they make sure she stays a number of feet away. After that, we go back to our regularly scheduled no contact. Everyone seemed fine with that. I said I'd get in a picture with her and Dad, who, despite our issues, I know would take her down if she tried anything. Am I going to put myself at some risk? Yes, but unlike the rest of my family, I am driving myself and can leave at any time. Plus, I'm a former model with the photographer they selected, and he's been aware of our situation for some time as a close friend, which gives me some comfort that he'll move us as far as possible for photos. Why did I agree? Because my limited contact grandmother is in bad health. I think that's why she has pushed for us to make up so badly. Which is no excuse in my eyes, but gives me some clarity. It may be our last chance at a big family photo. I don't want to deny my cousins of this. They've always loved and supported me. I feel security in knowing that many people are on my side and will be vigilant when it comes to her behavior. Editor's note, I was unable to recover the image included in the post. The message above, however, is between me and my dad after my aunt texted in the group chat. A paper detailing of what shots she really wants. One is me and my sister, together, on a bridge, alone. I sent the above message to my dad basically saying, absolutely the fuck not, and I haven't heard back since. Now, that blanket of security I felt feels like it's slowly tearing away after reading that, and his lack of response. There's still time to back out, but now, it would just cause even more bullshit, and I'm honestly lost as to what to do. Part 5. The 23rd of December, 2023. Sister is at it again. Hey guys, I've decided to start tagging as personal write-ins since I've finally come to terms I can't control these things and no longer need to question if I'm at fault for me and my sister's situation. So, my sister has started once again with her hatred towards me at the family holiday. I made the recent decision I would be civil so we can have Christmas all together for the sake of Mom. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned this in my previous update, but she was recently diagnosed with thyroid cancer since my coming home. Strange as it may sound, the doctors say it's the best cancer to have. Still, she's scared to death going through something I could never understand, and made the promise that she'd keep my sister as far away as humanly possible. Unlike other family members, she didn't really even push me, just suggested it. I hesitated, but knowing how many events my mother has went without all of her children and all of the stress she's went through lately, I just agreed. I'm already starting to regret my decision. I don't feel scared I'll be physically harmed because if she tries anything, I now have a 6'1" prison guard / self-declared gym nut, my boyfriend, to keep her away. He's one of the few people who I've told everything to. And because he says he loves me, I guess my sister hates him. She messaged Mom on Facebook a few weeks prior that if he came to our family gifts with us, then she'd not show. That if I was at the gingerbread night, she was going to leave. She never even came to gingerbread night yesterday, and after my mom posted Facebook images of the event, my sister went crazy online, posting how she's the stranger and black sheep of our family, cursing out my mother in comment sections and even not coming to our extended family Christmas breakfast today because of it. My boyfriend offered to just see me later Christmas morning, and I told him it would be different if it wasn't because she hates me. Like, if Mom wanted it to just be family, I may be less comfortable, but it's fine. She never stays long. But she's targeting my boyfriend because she hates me and refuses to show because of me being there. I just know I'll feel a lot of guilt because Mom is going to be so hurt, and I really don't know if she'll come. I don't really need advice here. I guess I'm posting today because my mind is full of holiday worry for a mom who may not be here next year and has always supported me through this. User No Astronaut 2795. If this is real, I have no idea why you would put yourself in this situation again. OP responds, I don't want to, truly, but family means everything to me, and I do just about anything for my mother except be alone in a room with this person or somewhere with people I know will always turn a blind eye to what she does. It's unlikely my sister will come, and a big part of me is praying she doesn't, but I know my mother will be hurt. Like someone else said, holidays come with unrealistic expectations and disappointment. Add that with her medical situation, which I must say, the more people message me, the better I feel about it. And it just makes things so worse in my mind. Dormouse2 comments, 2 things. As a thyroid cancer survivor, it's the best to have because it's easy to fix. You can survive without a thyroid and take meds. Second, screw your sister. OP responds, the more people have messaged me, the better I have felt about it. I think it's the word cancer in general that puts me into a spin. If it's okay, do you mind if I ask if you had any struggles after, health-wise or physically? I'm going to help her through recovery since my job is only part-time and I'll be home more than others. There seems to be no response. User Floomby comments, this is not within your power to fix, so set that particular guilt aside. You cannot control your sister, you cannot fix her mental health, or control her reaction to anything. Therefore, you cannot provide that perfect family reunion for your mother. You can show up for your mother, and that's it. In fact, you should probably not even try. You are thinking that you should make the big sacrifice, swallow your pride, and be with your sister for a sweet bit of theater. But that nice Kodak moment would depend on your sister's desire for the same thing. But remember, your sister was not asked if she was on board with your plan, nor would it be a good or remotely realistic idea. So by absenting herself, your sister is probably doing the wisest thing. Your mother seeing you one at a time is much better than having you two get together and having a repeat of the huge fight. Part of the reason holidays make people sad is that they put wildly unreasonable expectations on them. Rolling up and expecting your sister to take that as a cue to fix whatever mental illness she hasn't ever been able to fix before is one of those expectations. So just be there for your mom and give sister space for her time, as long as she isn't getting abusive with her. Worry about your own behavior and let sister deal with herself. OP on her sister helping out. My sister would never be involved in mom's recovery process. She never has in the past when it came to liver and bowel surgeries. I don't think she's ever once even asked about mom's current health status, not to my knowledge at least. Part 6, the final update, the 1st of January 2024, 1 week later. Hey guys! Please no donations, I'm not asking for money of any kind, and I did find a job, so I'm no longer struggling as much financially. I do appreciate the willingness to give, but I cannot accept. If you would like, I am sure there are plenty of charities that are willing to accept such, and I'll gladly give suggestions if asked. But again, I will not accept. Happy 2024! It's officially been a few days over a year since I've spoken to my sister. I've learned a lot in this time, and the holidays went smoothly enough. I basically avoided her like the plague, and we were only in the same room for a short time period surrounded by people I know wouldn't stand for her behavior. In a shocking turn of events, I got offered a modeling job earlier this week. It's runway modeling, and I'll definitely have to start hitting the gym for it, but my boyfriend thinks it could help me with stressors in my life, and my therapist even thinks it's a wonderful idea. Any tips? I haven't been to the gym in almost 4 months, and even then, I just ran on a treadmill. I don't bring this up to brag or be one of those attention-seeking, I'm a model, oh my god, love me, types I see online. I was friends with one of those. They do exist. They are not good to be around. I bring this development up as an example of my progress mentally. My sister found out about this opportunity. More specifically, she found out it was in New York City, and of course, she complained to my dad about how it's not fair I get to do these things. I'm the world's favorite, I don't deserve this, etc. In the past, I've always let her comments bother a small part of me. Maybe they didn't choose me to win XYZ prize because they liked my work. Maybe I was second call for ABC Project. Maybe I did get lucky when I won LMNOP scholarship. I know this all makes me sound like a big baby to a few of you. I know some of you will say I'm exaggerating, and my thought process in the past has been way out there. And I'm here to say, you're right, in a lot of ways. I was being hard on myself, hard on my accomplishments, and letting the words of someone else impact my life. But until I decide to let that person go, and I reach my own boiling point, I didn't take as much pride in these things. I made excuses for how they came to be instead of how I built myself to these things. And that part is a fault of my own. For the first time, probably ever, I actually laughed when my sister tried to bring me down, and I feel like my confidence is growing. My therapist says this is a sign I'm actually healing and not letting her take over. I'm happy to say I finally feel like I'm making progress a year later. Comments. Floomby comments. It's so super unfair that sister didn't get a job she didn't apply to and isn't qualified for. How dare you apply for jobs and achieve things? You should call that job up first thing tomorrow and tell them to offer it to your sister instead, or you're a big stinky meanie. Sarcastic. User Layla comments, I'm so proud of you. I've been following your story and your sister has serious problems. I'm glad you're distancing yourself from her. 2024 is gonna be a great year for you. And thus ends the saga of Am I the Asshole for bashing my sister in the head with a Christmas present and telling her to consider me dead. Just to remind everyone where this started from. Started with her hitting her sister in the head with a makeup mini fridge. And several life developments later, from mom getting cancer to getting a runway modeling job, here we are. Wow. Once I get this one up, I'm going to try to also get a main channel video done sometime soon, hopefully, because boy is it hard to juggle these two. I also did not expect this post to take up the entire video. I thought maybe it was going to be 20 minutes, but oh god no, was I wrong. However, things are going good. I'm going to try to find the tagline of Agtha, my sensual roach queen as well. But in general, the main thing I do want to put attention to is the family's insanity. Were they just unaware of the kitchen knife incident and just thought this was just some weird sibling rivalry gone a bit too far? Or were they aware and thought that OP should just continue to be the bigger person despite the obvious issues their sister has? I can also understand near the end there why OP was willing to at least attempt to put up with their sister for the sake of their mother who had cancer. OP wanted to do something nice for their mom, who was supportive and by their side the entire time. And I can respect that. 100% not needed considering it's with someone who held a steak knife to your throat. But at the same time, all the more power to them for being willing to do that for their mom. But overall, despite the mess that it took to get here, I am happy that OP was able to find a brighter future and start taking steps towards realizing that their sister's weird bullshit is not their problem, and they shouldn't be taking it and allowing it to shape their life moving forward. Good on you, OP, and good luck in the future. Don't forget, today we're launching the 3 opossums in a trench coat blush. Coming live and yeah. But you should definitely buy this blush. It is totally not 3 opossums in a trench coat. Totally not. You should definitely allow this completely non-conspicuous, oddly shaped, distinguished gentleman into your home, who will certainly not lay claim to your pantry. This is in fact 3 opossums in a trench coat, who will in fact lay complete desolation to your fridge, pantry, and potentially garbage. On sale now!